Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where it's one video a day this week. And we're going to start off with my review of NWA 75 Nights 1 and 2. And, overall, pretty good show. Some scary moments, but we'll get into it. As we start off with NWA 75 Night 1, which took place this past Saturday. Overall, really solid show. So let's get into the first match, which is the NWA Women's TV title match, as Max the Impaler challenges Kenzie Page. And overall, Kenzie Page finding from underneath, with Max pretty much all but dominating. Near the end, Kenzie goes for a cutter that gets blocked off by just the sheer mass of Max, who then hits a nasty-looking crossbody to pick up the victory. And, it's sad to see Kenzie's reign get cut short, especially with the Lucky 7 stipulation, in which she gets 7, title retentions in a row. She gets a world title shot. But it's not all bad for Kenzie. I will say congratulations to Max. Overall, fun little opening bout. I do wish it was given a little bit more time, but that's okay. Because next up, we got a match for the vacated NWA National title, as Odinson takes on J.R. Kratos and Thrillbilly Silas Mason. And, oh boy, this was a hoss fight, but it was a fast hoss fight, if you know what I mean. Like, the pacing for the match was really good. The energy was there from all three of these guys. Pollo Darmore was ringside. Eventually, she does get in the ring to try to help Thrillbilly, but then Kratos backs Pollo into Thrillbilly, who hits a thrill ride on her, which didn't see that one coming, but it looks like Pollo and Thrillbilly are broken up. And then Thrillbilly hits a thrill ride on Kratos to pick up the victory, and finally win the NWA National title. Title he's been chasing for a while now. And that EC3 vacated to get his world title shot at night 2. But we'll get to that one in a little bit. Next up, this match stems more from Twitter beef, which, alright, a bit of a little real world seeping into my wrestling. I'm good with that. Originally, it was supposed to just be a one-on-one, but Homicide went to Billy Corgan, pretty much said, I want this to be a no DQ. And that is exactly what happened. Homicide pretty much all but dominated in the first part of this match. He had Alonzo dead to rights after a cutter. He was going for the cop killer, but then Joe Alonzo countered out of it. Hit a big old roll up to pick up the victory. So, a little sad to see Homicide lose, but good to see Joe Alonzo get pushed a little bit more, because he's honestly really good. Next up, a bit of an odd tag team match, but I enjoyed it. As Magnum Muscle, that's Mims and Dak Draper, who I'm really happy Dak Draper's found his way, against the Brothers of Funstruction, that's Yabo and Ruffalo the Clown, being managed by current ICP member. You remember the Insane Clown Posse? Well, Violent J is leading them to the ring. And honestly, that's pretty cool. Insane Clown Posse have their history in wrestling. Back in the Attitude Era in WWE, they managed a team called the Oddities, if you remember them, including singing one of their songs, Down to the Ring, which will always get me. He did some time in WCW. I think they had a brief stint in TNA, like really early on. And then they opened their own promotion, which is Insane Championship Wrestling. I don't think, although I haven't seen action from them, so I don't know if they're still open. So yeah, ultimately, kind of a little bit of a joke match. You see Yabo trying to blow up a balloon during the match, but that gets, swatted away. And then after a whoop whoop driver, your winners, the Brothers of Funstruction, which, honestly, fun little tag team match. And I know people have issues with the clowns, but I kind of dig them. Like, they're funny. Next up, we got an interview with TV champion Tom Latimer. Pretty much, at this point, he's speaking directly to his opponent, which is Chris Adonis, the former Chris Masters. Pretty much saying, yeah, I'm disappointed in you, man. I know it's just business we're going to handle, but you do have anything to stay relevant, and tomorrow I'm going to kick your butt. Then he talks about Camille, her match later tonight with Natalia Markova, which, don't worry, I'll get to. But first up, we got the junior heavyweight title on the line as Kerry Morton defends against Colby Corino. Now, usually, Ricky Morton is out there with his boy, but sadly his flight got delayed, so that didn't go down, so Kerry's out there on his own. This was, honestly, I think one of the matches of the night for me. Lots of good back and forth. While they did have the classic wrestling, they greatly incorporated some more junior heavyweight style, like the flipping and the flopping. Then, after a couple of headbutts, a Finley roll, and a DDT, your winner and new junior heavyweight champion, Colby Corino, in which, honestly, this is up there for me on match of the night, maybe. There's definitely some good ones coming, but this one is up there for me. I'm going to give it a must-watch seal of approval. Next up, a no DQ match as Tim Storm takes on Jax Dane. Now, Jax Dane's manager Chris Silvio tries to throw a chair in. Dane then slides it out, saying, I don't need you. I don't need that. After a couple moves in, Jax Dane hits a couple of big old suplexes. But then, Tim Storm just doesn't get up. So they delay a little bit. And then we see the dreaded throwing up the X. The match is thrown out. Technically, Jax Dane won. But, injuries are always not great. It was reported that Tim Storm suffered a stinger, which sounds like a minor injury. I do hope he gets better soon. He was on commentary for night 2, which is always good to see. Glad to see he's okay. Hopefully he's getting some help for whatever's ailing him. Next up, we got an interview with Matt Cardona, in which he goes over his history with the NWA, saying, I tried to save it, in which I did, but then I suffered an injury. I was stripped of the title. Now comes Chapter 2 with this company, and there's a line of challengers ready to face me, and I'm always ready. So, Cardona ready for his open challenge, which, big surprise on who comes out. Next up, we got the Burke Invitational Gauntlet match, in which the winner gets a shot at whoever's the women's title for night 2. Starting out number 1, former TV champion Kenzie Page. She talked to Billy Corgan. She wanted in this match, but he only granted her this if she started out first. Her opponent going first, Taylor Rising, which is a cute play on terrorizing, the former gimmick of Triple H in WCW. So they start out really fast, really competitive, lots of good back and forth, including a nasty looking bulldog. Competitor number 3, Ruthie J. Now, the last time I saw Ruthie, she was involved in the Hardcore War at the Crockett Cup, I believe that was, which that was a lot of fun. She gets right into it with the both of them. Eventually gets hit with a suplex. Participant number 4, Heather Monroe. Mostly competing in tag team matches for the NWA. Now it looks like she's rolling solo. Gets right in on the action. Then Kenzie hits the Starstruck and eliminates Taylor Rising. Competitor number 5 is Samantha Starr, in which, honestly, she kind of powers everyone out. Everyone around the ring. Next person in, participant number 6, it's Allison Kay, former NWA Women's Champion in her own right and former Tag Team Champion. And she goes right after Samantha Starr. And after a roll through super kick, Samantha Starr is eliminated. Participant number 7 is MJ Jenkins. I've seen her more than a couple times in the NWA. She always impresses. And she goes right into the Lion's Den against Allison Kay. Participant number 8 is CJ, the current assistant to Magic Mike. And, she didn't last long, as she's pretty much automatically eliminated by the powerhouses. Participant number 9, La Brava Escobar. I'm not super familiar with her work. I'm certain she has been in NWA previously, but I just really don't remember her. But it doesn't last long, as she is pretty much eliminated almost immediately. Participant number 10, The Woad, which I am definitely not familiar with her. She goes right into it with some hip attacks. And a big old backbreaker. Participant number 11 is Sierra, and she goes right into it with the Woad. I guess they are rivals from another promotion. Now, it has been said, this is the last participant, number 11. But then the countdown continues. And we're like, wait, did we miscount? What's going on here? Number 12, Max the Impaler, the current NWA Women's TV Champion. She goes, pretty much eliminates MJ Jenkins, the Woad, and Sierra all on her own. The other competitors who are still in this match then team up all together and eliminate Max. Allison Kay hits an AK-47 on Ruthie J to eliminate her. So that just leaves 2 participants, Allison Kay and Kenzie Page. And honestly, I could watch them I want to see them in a one-on-one contest on NWA one day. Because they worked really well together. Kay thinks she has elimination after an AK-47, but Kenzie Page holds on to the top rope. Allison Kay runs at her, low bridge, and your winner, Kenzie Page, starting from the number 1 position. Honestly, for a Battle Royal, that was a lot of fun. And honestly, this is the slow build to Kenzie Page. Just you wait. Next up, we got a little weird interview from Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch, who are getting ready for their title shot night 2 against either La Rebellion or BFT. Pretty much saying, yeah, congratulations, La Rebellion and BFT. You're all going to leave it out there. But there's one thing you didn't think about. Facing us tomorrow. We're fresh. And to either team, we're going to win. So, nice little promo from those two. Hyping up their title match for the next night. Next up, we got the Matt Cardona Open Challenge, in which he calls out any young man in the locker room to come and make your name on me. Out comes, finally arriving in the arena, Ricky freaking Morton. And honestly, this was a dang good matchup. A lot of good back and forth between the two. Then, after a low blow, a radio silence, your winner, Matt Cardona. However, that leaves Cardona to go get a chair. Looks like he's going to hit Ricky Morton. But then Kennedy and Alex Taylor make the save. So, that sets up a little match for night numero dos. We'll get to that. Next up, we've got the NWA Tag Team titles on the line, as La Rebellion being seconded by Vampiro, who has been a heck of a manager for them, take on Blunt Force Trauma, the masked duo being managed by Aaron Stevens, if you remember Damian Sandow, the former Damian Sandow. And honestly, this was a nice little clash of styles. We did see these two in the semifinals of the Crockett Cup. Yeah, this was definitely a really good one. Really good clash of styles. At one point, we did see Stevens attempt to load up the glove, but he gets stopped by Vampiro. But then, after a roll-up, a big old super kick, your winners and new NWA World Tag Team Champions, Blunt Force Trauma. Now, they get out of ringside pretty much right away. Who's on the ramp? It's the Brothers of Construction and Slim J. And they have a nice little stare down with La Rebellion. They definitely have a bit of history between the two. We then get a hype video for the main event for night 2, which is EC3 versus Tyrus. And then we get a weigh-in for that match, in which, no, I did not need to see that. Both men come out. EC3 comes out with a weird mask. I don't know what that's about. Interviewer asks for comments. Neither of them give it. They do the weigh-in. They, go face-to-face like the MMA fighters do. EC3 walks off. Tyrus is about to. Then he grabs the mic and says, I dedicate this match tomorrow to Wyndham Rotunda, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt, who has recently passed. That got me a little bit. Like, Like, I get it. He's trying to be a nice guy, but I don't buy it. Not for 100 seconds. We then get a 10-bell salute for Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt, which was very nice by the NWA. And then we get into our main event for night numero uno, and it's for the NWA Women's Championship in a no TQ contest, as Natalia Markova challenges the one-time champ, Camille. And honestly, this was an absolute war from the start. We got kendo sticks, trash cans, can lids. At one point, they go up on the stage and Markova hits a suplex on Camille. There's chair shots galore. They use cookie sheets. At one point, Camille goes for a diving move, which I haven't seen from Camille. She gets blasted in the face with a cookie sheet. Near the end of the match, Markova goes for the Jazz Stinger. That's get countered. Markova gets knocked over the top rope. Misses a kick. A low blow. And then Camille spears Markova through the ropes, through a table, waiting at ringside. And for the 1, 2, 3, your winner, still NWA Women's Champion, Camille. However, there is no rest for the wicked, as on the stage are Pretty Empowered, being led by Kenzie Page. Although she does not cash in tonight, that match is going to be night 2. Overall, night 1 of NWA 75 was really, really solid. Lots of good wrestling, a lot of good stories being told. It's a shame what happened to Tim Storm, but he's not as super regular in the ring anymore, which is a little sad, but hopefully he gets better soon. And, yeah, overall, gonna give this show a thumbs up. This was a really, really good show. And I recommend, even if you're not the biggest fan of the NWA, give night 1 at least a check out, because it was a lot of fun. So now that night 1 is over, we now check out night numero dos, which starts out with a good old-fashioned grudge match for the NWA television title, as Tom Latimer takes on Chris Adonis. And oh boy, you could feel the animosity between these two competitors. They definitely felt like they did not like each other. At certain points, Adonis does go for the master lock, but that gets countered. He eventually, near the end, gets it in. Roll up 2 count, stomps right into the crossface for the submission victory. And finally fulfilling the Lucky 7 stipulation for the TV title, Tom Latimer, which means at any time he could cash in his television title for a world title opportunity. So look out for whoever's the champion. Next up, we got the NWA Women's Tag Team titles on the line, as Pretty Empowered, that's Ella Envy and Kylie Page, take on M95, Missa Cade, and Maddie Rankowski. And honestly, as much as these two teams have faced each other, this match felt fresh. It felt really, really good to look at. It didn't feel like every match they've had. And honestly, yeah, this was very fun. Although at one point, I think it was Maddie went for a dive and it ended up in an awkward leg drop, which I'm not going to take away points from her for that. That was in people make mistakes, and that's fine. Didn't think anyone got hurt. So, end of the night, big boot with a big miss, and a code red, and your winners, and new NWA Tag Team Champions, Pretty Empowered, making that 3 opportunities in a row. 3 reigns for the Tag Team Champions. And long may they reign. Next up, we got an interview with the Southern Six, which is Joe Alonzo. No, it's not Joe Alonzo. It's Alex Taylor and Kerry Moulton. Pretty much say, yeah, look, I'm pissed off I lost this my title, but I am going to get built right back up after I beat Cardona tonight. That match was set up because Kerry wants revenge for what Cardona did to Ricky night 1. And then in comes little Billy Silas Mason with a bottle of champagne. Starts kind of chugging it, dumping all over his head. Calls out his opponent for tonight, Jordan Clearwater, who on the pre-show won a Battle Royal. Pretty much saying, look, you've spent a lot of time in the kitchen, but you have no idea what's cooking. And tonight, I'm going to make you eat a lot of potatoes, which in wrestling terms means he's probably going to go a little stiff. But we'll see about that as we go into the junior heavyweight title match, as Colby Corino, the new champion, takes on Jack Cartwheel, who won a Battle Royal in the pre-show night 1. And honestly, this was absolutely excellent. Jack Cartwheel showed out tonight, but didn't overshadow Kobe. Kobe kept up. And, after a Death Valley driver, a big old clothesline, and the Sins of the Dead, which I believe is his finisher, your winner, Colby Corino, still junior heavyweight champion. Which leads us right into the NWA Women's TV title match, as Max the Impaler takes on Ruthie J. Started out as a Max the Impaler squash. Eventually Ruthie J does get some stuff in, but Max is a bit too much. So after a splash and a big old clothesline, your winner, Max the Impaler. We then get a video promo from Vampiro, pretty much calling out the Insane Clown Posse member, saying that tonight my pack has no qualms squashing the clowns. Pretty much nice, short, sweet little video promo, which leads us right into the Brothers of Funstruction taking on La Rebellion. And honestly, this was another fun little clash of styles. The more silly style of the Brothers versus the more brutal side of La Rebellion. At certain points, we did see Vampiro and Violent J try to get involved. End of the day, after a super kick from Vampiro, with the ref's back turned, and a big old splash, your winners, La Rebellion. But it doesn't stop there, as La Rebellion beats down the Brothers of Funstruction, which leaves Violent J in the ring with all of La Rebellion. They do a bit of a BTE trigger, and then they take out the pie, give Violent J a little pie in the face to send him home a little disappointed. honestly, I'm going to give this match a big thumbs up. This was a very entertaining contest. And, yeah, going to be interesting to see how this rivalry goes. Because I don't think it's done. Next up, we got an interview from NWA World Champion Tyrus, who pretty much says, look, NWA didn't put me in this position, Billy Corgan didn't put me in this position, I did. I wanted to challenge myself tonight. In EC3, you're the underdog. And tonight, two things can happen, and both are history. Now, if you don't know, we got a couple of stipulations for this main event match, which I'll get to. As we continue the show on, we got Matt Cardona versus Kerry Morton. A very entertaining little bout. Nothing to really phone home about, but I did like their chemistry a lot. Kerry does go for the radio silence, but that gets blocked. At one point, Alex Taylor comes out to show his support for Kerry. He gets knocked off the apron. A low blow, kiss it goodbye, and a showstopper. So your winner, Kerry Morton, getting rebuilt back into the fold. Next up, we got the NWA National title on the line as Thrillbilly Silas Mason takes on Jordan Clearwater. A very, very entertaining match. Silas did dominate for a little bit in the beginning. By the middle, Clearwater does make a bit of a comeback. But after a big old thrill ride, your winner and still NWA National Champion, Thrillbilly Silas Mason. And we move on to our semi-main event, as it's BFT, the current NWA Tag Team Champions, taking on Crockett Cup winners Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch. And honestly, this was a big old house fight. Although BFT did target Murdoch's legs a bit, which that's good wrestling stuff. At one point, Carnage was in the ring for a bit too long and got a little dominated. But then, out comes the Loaded Glove by Aaron Stevens. Big old punch to Mike Knox. And then Damage goes right into the pinfall for the victory. So your winners, still NWA Tag Team Champions, BFT. Actually, I was mistaken. This is the semi-main event, as it's for the NWA Women's Championship, as Camille defends against Kenzie Page. And, oh boy, this was a fun one. As Kenzie, working as the heel, exposes the middle turnbuckle about halfway in. They keep teasing it, they tease it. So, Camille has Kenzie up for the spear. Kenzie gets out of the way, right into the exposed turnbuckle. Into a Kenzie cutter for the victory. And new NWA Women's Champion, Kenzie Page. And honestly, I'm going to say this, she deserves it. She has been working her butt off for a good while for the NWA. And I am glad they're giving her her reward. Then, honestly, this match gets a big old thumbs up from me. I highly enjoyed it. It was definitely something a little different from the Night 1 main event, but it worked so well. And Fine Alamo for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship You got EC3 versus Tyrus in a bull rope match. Now, I am glad it isn't the four corners bull rope style match, because I do not like those. So it's pinfall submission, and also with the added stipulation that if Tyrus loses, he retires from wrestling. So, yeah, let's go. And honestly, they used every weapon they could get their hands on. They used chairs. They faked out on a move going through the announce table, which I'm kind of glad they didn't. Then they did the Tyrus hit a choke slam through the announce table. Not the announce table, the timekeeper's table, which that was pretty cool. But then it all goes downhill from there as EC3 tries to do a DDT from off the apron. That looked very awkward. Tyrus then has EC3 down in the ring. He hits the ropes, does a little boom 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 into a splash for a 2 count. But then EC3 gets advantage. Couple of chair shots, a couple of 1%ers for a 2 count. He then locks in the purpose, including a aided by the bull rope. And finally, after a submission win, your new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, it's trouble time. It's EC3. And post-match, Tyrus said goodbye to the NWA. He thanks Billy Corgan. He thanks his trainers. And while he loves this sport, the sport doesn't exactly love him. And it's not about the trolls online, in which kind of guilty. It's about everyone sitting in the arena cheering me on. Which, okay, Tyrus got his flowers. That's nice. EC3 then comes back out. He has the original 10 pounds of gold and Tyrus's 12 pounds of gold, because they needed to add another couple notches. He then awards Tyrus the 12 pounds of gold for him to go home with, hopefully. So, yeah, that is NWA 75. Overall, a very entertaining show. The only two real not-so-good things that happened on this show were the Tim Storm injury, which, it's understandable. Injuries happen. And that main event. Oh, boy. That was not good. As much as I do like EC3, he's not really that great as a wrestler, but his style did mesh pretty well with Tyrus's. But overall, a very fun experience from the NWA, and I am interested to see where this all goes. Alright, I'm glad you all joined me here today. For tomorrow, we got reviews for Impact Wrestling Emergence and AEW All In from Wembley. I hope you guys join me then. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.